And we had a couple of ideas of how it was going to look, and we got to first 8 minutes. That changed the game. When they started to go vertical on us and started to chase the game, that's when I felt comfortable because that's not how Arizona State wants to play. When they were passing and moving and rhythm in the first half, that's them. Second half, when they're chasing, that's not them. So we knew then that we just had to balance the game out and close it out.
When you've talked about Ella in the past, you said really superb athletic ability, kind of working on the mental side. Do you think that the game against Arizona State was a big growth mentally for Ella too, where she was starting to show, being in the right position more than just being athletically gifted?
Absolutely. She did well. I mean, she made credit to her some of the saves she made, and then credit to their forward, not credit to their forwards. Their forwards made some mistakes because I think on a couple of them, Ella found herself caught in no man's land. She recovered well, but she's such a big presence. I mean, it's almost like someone trying to dunk on Shaquille O'Neal out there. I mean, she just stands, she opens her arms up, and she's got a wingspan. So that becomes a little scary for other teams. So where she got herself in trouble, her athleticism, her frame allowed her to recover herself into good position. So, yeah, she learned a lot. But for her to get a win like that, to carry the team, one thing I said at halftime is don't let our goalkeeper hang in today. She just kept you in the game the first half. That's plain and simple. Don't leave her hanging. Go out there and win this game for her this afternoon in the second half.
After the 2 goals you had, they only had 4 or 5 shots just overall, not even on goal. Was it more or less your defense trying to get a better shape, or was it the fact that they were chasing the game? And how impressed were you that they only got 4 shots after that?
I think a little bit better because, again, we settled ourselves down and made our adjustments at half and told them how they're playing now. So that defensive helped us. But then, again, back to your other point is when you're chasing the game, you got to go vertical a lot. And that's just exactly what Arizona State does not want to do. They don't want to go – that's just not their style. And that helped as well. Having a lead really did help that.
Can you just talk a little bit about what it takes for a player like Courtney Gootline to dispossess somebody and then turn it right around and turn it into a goal? And I mean, she darn near did that in the first few minutes of the game as well.
Yeah, I mean, she's a quiet – I say quiet because she just sits out there and hangs around, does what we ask her to do. And when you get her the ball, I mean, then the quietness goes away because she's a handful. And she sits in there, picks her pockets, picks her moments, and I mean, she's scoring goals right now. I mean, she's one that clearly everybody's going to be looking at on film. She had some big goals against Oklahoma State, against Fullerton, and then 2 big goals this weekend. So she clearly is on other people's scouting report, but she's only getting better, and that's what we're excited about.
And this weekend, you have your Pac-12 home openers. You welcome the LA schools that, while their record might say otherwise, are probably 2 of the most athletic teams in the Pac-12.
2 of the most athletic teams, and USC by far will be, to date, the best team we've played, and here's why. Number one, there's Kadani and those staff have done a great job. They're well coached. As you said, Jim, athletes for days. They have tons of athletes, okay? But they've also have played an unbelievable schedule. I mean, they lost to Florida State, the national champs, I believe, 1-0. They lost to Carolina, who's one of the best teams ever, as we know in soccer. They took Duke to a nail-biter. They played a great Texas Tech team. So they are – mature-wise, they have played in big games and big moments. So I'm super excited to see now our response. Last week was the response after a loss. Now it's a response to see this USC team that by far is one of the top teams in this conference. We know that, but we'll be prepared, and I'm super excited to see where that takes us. And then you got UCLA, and I mean, it is another giant. I mean, former national champs a couple years ago. They've had some injuries lately, so I'm not fooled that they will be what UCLA is. No question about it. I mean, they've had some injuries, and I think Smith had to sit out a game after a red card, so they'll be up here full gear. So it's another challenge, and we know that. I mean, that's what we want. That's why we're here. That's why I'm here, and we want to see what we can do this weekend.
In terms of the system that you'll see from USC, is there any team you feel like up to this point that you guys can kind of lean on in terms of just knowing the type of system they're going to play that you guys would look at the most?
Probably a little bit on Oklahoma State because they have a ton of athletes too, and Courtney DK. And I would say that DK is a special young lady. USC is really special. They're back 4, back 5, back 6, however you look at it. I mean, they have some athletes. So we know they're dangerous. They got a great transfer in, a central midfielder we're well aware of that'll do a great job for those guys. So they're a balanced team that likes to get forward, stretch you out. And again, Kadani hasn't prepared. So, again, we'll be ready. But that's task number 1, and then we have to worry about UCLA after we get done with USC. So we'll take one game at a time here.
All right, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thanks.